Hello and welcome back to the 47th episode of my still unnamed survival series. In the last episode, we built this raid farm, and unfortunately, we can't collect any items from it. We don't have a storage system set up for it. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make an automatic storage system connecting directly up to our raid farm. So the first thing we're gonna do is pick up a beacon, dig out a spot underneath our raid farm, and start removing some of the chunks underneath our raid farm. We're probably down far enough. This seems about right. But now we need a spout coming from the top of the raid farm going down to the top of our hole. All the items need to come up from this kill chamber all the way down here. That's not gonna be hard at all, but we're gonna make it out of leaves just so we know it's spawn proof. The spout is in position, and I think we should start doing some redstone with it. We gotta take the items and XP from this tube and separate them and send them in two different directions. And we gotta figure out how to do that. I actually know exactly how we're gonna separate the items and XP. We've used a very similar system in our Guardian farm. So we're gonna need a couple blocks of honey and a couple hopper minecarts for this item extractor. We still need somewhere to funnel our items to, so I've gone ahead and built up the frame for this item sorter. This is a tileable water stream system, and we're gonna coat the entire right side of this chasm all the way down with this version. There are a lot of items we want to collect from this farm, so we're gonna need a lot of storage. The items are also going to be coming in really fast from this farm, so we need a lot of the same sorter to make sure we can collect all of the items that are produced. We're also going to have a lot of trash that I really want to get rid of, so we can't wrap around the item so it goes through again. We're going to have a trash can at the end of this somewhere. So we've got to make sure that this collects all of the items that we want the first time they go through. Or else we'll have a bunch of lag, and nobody likes lag. Laggy worlds are bad. The trash coming from this farm is also something that we can't really filter out. So this is all just gonna go into a fire or a lava to be completely expunged and expelled from this world. Honestly, the main reason why we're building this farm is for the emeralds and totems of undying. So I wanna try and collect the totems somehow, but of course they're a non-stackable. So we need to figure out a way to get those out as well. And I'd like to keep this automatic so it just throws away all the trash I don't want. So we're gonna need to figure out a different style of sorting system that can sort non-stackable items, at least one. And I think I have an idea of how we're gonna do it. But before we can figure out what we're doing with our unstackable items, we need to figure out what we're doing with our XP. So right here, I am building our item and XP separator. This is the device that's going to pull items from a water stream, leaving the XP, and then pushing the items out into a separate water stream. In theory, these minecarts that we're going to place above these hoppers are going to pull items from a water line above them, funneling the items into the hoppers below, then sending them into some droppers, which will then push the items out in a water line. And this is all wrapped up into a system that is only activated when it detects items. So if the farm isn't running, this isn't running, and it's super quiet and super convenient. Now that our sorter is almost done, we're gonna go around and put all these small little details and finishing touches. We've got our item puller put in, our item guiding chests. These are surprisingly important. Our glass pane guides, and finally the water in our water lines. Now that we have the water line to our sorter all settled, we're gonna work on the XP. We don't actually need this. We honestly could send this straight into a fire, and we still might do that in the future. But for now, I'm gonna try and get all the XP going straight up to the AFK platform. I wanna reduce the amount of lag in this farm, and controlling the EXP is one of the easiest ways to do it. All of our water lines are now hooked up to where they're supposed to be. We've got all of our items dropping down into our item puller here. The XP coming down this slope, in and up, and of course our items going along this sorter. I feel like eventually we might need to upgrade our item puller. I don't think it'll get out everything that it needs to, but for now we're just gonna go with this, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, we'll just add on to it. But now we're gonna need some items to actually make the filters for our sorter, so I think I'm just gonna do some AFK and build up some items. Let's start some raids. While we're up here, I also wanted to see if we had any raids spawning in the sorting system, and it really doesn't look like we're having an issue with spawning at all. They're only spawning inside of the kill chamber, and they're only spawning where they're supposed to, which is perfect. I'm kind of surprised by that, to be honest. We didn't flatten anything. We will have to add another item puller. That's unfortunate. But spawning wise, this farm's going really well. I didn't actually put any of the filters in place, and I just let all the items flow in here naturally. So now we need to organize and sort all of these ourselves so we can actually put in the filters. It's taking more time to sort all of these than it is to actually make the items. This is kind of crazy. So this is something a little unusual. The tridents in the bottom half of this farm have kind of disappeared. They fell straight through the trident killer and into the actual kill chamber. So that's a glitch I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for. What I might end up doing is just completely trashing this style of trident killer and go back to the quad style that just uses observers. It's a little bit more expensive, but it seems like it has a little bit less glitch. So that might be the route to go. I don't really know. The raid spawning platform works with this style of trident killer, and I didn't see any issues with those, but this might just be an issue that I have to keep an eye out for. This is also something a little unfortunate. If you look right above that leaf block, right inside the glass, you can see all of our XP not leaving the kill chamber and kill platform. Our XP is not making it over to the AFK platform. It looks like it's kind of bottlenecking right there at the downspout, and I'm not sure how to fix that, or if it can be fixed. Now that we have our stackable items and our XP taken care of, we're gonna try and make a non-stackable item sorter. And the way I'm gonna do this is through the allays. I've been wanting to try this for a while, and now's as good a time as any. So we're gonna crack these bad boys open and try and steal a few. You know, this may have been a bad idea. This was a very bad idea. Panic! All of my allays have escaped from this hole right here, and I don't think I feel like doing anything about it. I'm just gonna leave them. Problem solved. So I ended up getting 3 of them in the boats, and now we're just making our way over to the item sorter over at the raid farm. I'm gonna put these guys right at the end of the line on our item sorter and hopefully get them to sort out the non-stackable totems of undying. I've pulled the allays as close as I really want them to the end of the line, and now I'm just giving them a home. This item sorter is gonna function a lot differently than the ones we're used to. There's practically no redstone. The only redstone in this system is powering a note block. The allays are going to use this note block as an anchor for items. Whenever this note block sounds, they're going to be tied to it, and they're going to want to throw any item they're holding at the note block. And that's exactly the mechanic we're trying to use. Unfortunately, in Bedrock, this mechanic is broken. If the allays are in a boat or a minecart, they don't want to throw their items at a note block. They only want to throw it at the player. So for this system, they have to be outside of a minecart and outside of a boat. So to finesse them into doing what we want, we're just gonna jam them in a hopper. Hoppers can actually hold allays with a slab above them so they don't try and pathfind out of it. Entities can sit inside of the walls of a hopper, so if we push them down into it, they should be trapped. I've moved our allays to a minecart just so we can get them in the proper place a little bit easier. I want him directly above this hopper. We're gonna block him off on all 4 sides, put a slab directly above his head, and then force it down on top of him. Right now he's trapped, so we should be able to break the minecart and then force this slab down. This is gonna push him into the hopper and perfectly trap him. We're now able to remove all the blocks on all 4 sides as long as we have that slab above him. I've moved all the allays using that same method, and now we're gonna block them up on all 4 sides using some wool blocks. Just so no sound around them can get to them, this note block should be the only thing they need to work as a functioning item sorter. If they ever bind to me as the player, they're gonna stop trying to throw items at the note block and start trying to throw items to me, which is not what we want at all. The allays also have quite a reach and a distance, so we raise them up above the water line, and they should still be able to reach the things in the water line without the items falling into their hoppers. So the only thing that should be able to make it into these hoppers are the items that the allays themselves pick up. Now we're just going to hook up a very simple clock to this note block, and that should give a repeating sound that the allays bind to. They should always try and drop their items to the note block no matter what. So I'm going to block out the back so they can't bind to me as a player, and this should work. Haven't really tested this, so I think we should test it now. So I've been going back and forth and testing some things. I changed up the wool blocks on the right side and put them as solid blocks. That way the note block has more of a chance to get through, and I also changed up the clock for the note block. But every totem that we throw through will actually get into the sorting system. The allays, they pick it up, it works. Now that our item collection system is completely working and we can even sort out totems of undying, I'm just gonna create a little trash can here at the very end. I still want the opportunity to collect the items that this throws out, like the saddles or the axes, just in case I ever want to do something with those. So this is going to be a redstone trash can with a lever on it, so I can turn it off if I really want to. But for the most part, it's probably going to be on all the time. So I'm just going to chuck this here at the end, and then we're going to build the auto dropper system that we have pretty much on all of our redstone contraptions. Okay, so I did a bit of AFK just to double check and see if all of our systems were working, and our trash can definitely pushes out a lot, and our allays are definitely collecting a lot. However, it seems our middle allay is a little lazy. It doesn't pick up nearly as much as the other two. But this is after 10 minutes, and this is how much garbage we have. It's a good thing I added this trash can. This farm definitely produces a lot of items, so I'm gonna extend these chests and the amount of storage we have all the way down to the ground. For every single item part that we have here, I want the maximum amount of storage that we can potentially get. In the future, I might even bring this down further if we're overflowing this, but for now, I think that I'm just gonna extend it all the way down to the floor that we've already dug. And this is our item sorter, and even just from our testing, we have a bunch of emeralds. This is a very efficient farm, but all of these go all the way down, sorting out all the items we want to, and we have a repeat somewhere here. And these are our totem allay sorter things. I don't even know what to call these. Either way, this is our totems of undying, and they are definitely grabbing totems. I don't think I've actually had this many totems collected in this world, so this works very, very well. I've also got some small shulker box loaders at the very bottom. I generally keep my totems in shulker boxes just for convenience, but I might not do that anymore since we have mass storage for them. We'll just have to see what the future holds. But this over here to our left is the trash can, and this is way too small for this raid farm. Way too small. If I turn this off, this is probably gonna fill up within one raid, maybe less. 5 minutes of AFK and this will probably be filled up to the brim. That's kind of crazy. This is way undersized for this size of raid farm. So this is gonna stay on all the time, all the time. But now I'm thinking we should do a couple more raids and try and get as many emeralds from this farm as we can right now. Raid farms tend to break, and I would really like to get a very good stockpile of emeralds while we can. So I think we're gonna do that. I've been AFKing at this farm for quite some time now, probably close to 10 hours. Our Totem of Undying chests are completely full. That is 12 full chests plus hoppers with Totems of Undying. That should be hopefully more than I will ever need, but I haven't had an issue with spawning on this thing. No raids have spawned where they shouldn't have, none in the hole, none on any of the redstone. Nowhere. No problems whatsoever. And this is an incredibly efficient farm. And it's only about 2/3 of what it's supposed to be. For how much trouble this farm was worth to build, it was definitely worth it to build it. I think it's time we look at how many emeralds we got from that AFK. And it's honestly incredible. We got 3 full double chests of emerald blocks. This probably took about the same amount of time as it would to fill up half a chest using the single, and that's pretty incredible. This kind of makes me want to build a palace out of the emerald blocks, You know, it feels like a sorting day. The allays are out, the sun is shining, and we've already made one sorting system today. We might as well make another, right? So I'm thinking we'll make another little building for our shulker box sorting system. And I'm thinking we'll put cobblestone and stone in this area. I'm not sure where exactly I want it. I feel like I want it right here. And I kind of want it to have a stone theme. I want it to be unique, just kind of like these two, but still in the same small style. And I haven't designed that yet, so I think that we should hop into a creative testing world and design something, because I really don't know what I'm gonna put here. We're gonna start off with a 10 by 10 square. This is the size of the building I want, or around that size anyway. And I think we're gonna start off by trying to design where we're gonna put the chests. This has to be compatible with some redstone systems, so we gotta make it kind of spacious. I've been playing around with a couple ideas for some shelving and some decorative bits and bobs, and I'm not really liking anything that I can come up with here. This seems a little too awkward, and I can't actually get a structure out of this. And it's just, it feels odd. I'm now thinking like something that you have to enter, almost like a teepee of some sort, like a canopy or a shopping tent. It's got some form of central structure and can hold a lot more items than just a couple. And I kind of like that idea, so I'm gonna see where this takes me. Okay, this is what I came up with, and I actually really like it. I was trying to get some fantasy vibes going with a hat shape for the roof, but unfortunately it's not the vibe that I'm going for this little shop. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and design another one. I kind of like the idea of entering this shop, just like with the tent shop. So I think I'm gonna try and keep that mentality as something to enter rather than just walk up to. But I would still like to have stone bricks and stone as easy access points on the outside, because I do use those blocks a lot. So I might keep those on the exterior of the building. Okay, I think I might be onto something now. Instead of creating like a shelf, I'm thinking of this more like a flower pot. I don't know why, but that kind of made me come up with this. We have the trapdoors to hide any redstone on the inside, and we could put this in like a little window. And this could be like the storefront. It could be our easy access to these two chests, and then we could have a door on the left side of it. I think that might look good. And that'll also let us enter the building, which is also what I want. I've got the door on, and I really like the detail in the front, but I think it needs something above it. I'm feeling like a sloped roof might fit this, but I don't really know. None of our other buildings have a sloped roof. We have kind of a round one. Maybe it just needed an awning, because an awning looks really good on this. No, hate that. That's not gonna work. So I decided to completely change up the roof and kind of mirror what I have on another one of these shops, but with a more castle-esque rim. And I really like the way that looks. So I think this is going to be our final shop with this final shape and profile. I like the color scheme. I might add a little bit more darker spruce once we get to the survival world, but I'm actually pretty happy with that. We've still got our two chests on the outside, and we've got two on the inside as well. I think I'll keep this. And now that we're back in the survival world, let's just build up this shack pretty quickly and start getting onto that redstone. Y'all have already seen what this looks like. I'm just gonna throw it up, put a gradient on it, and call it done. I've gotten our little shack built here, and now it's time to fill in the redstone. We've got 4 chests to connect to the system down below the ground, and I don't actually have any idea how I'm gonna do this. This is a pretty tight space, and I think we have enough room to hide all of the redstone within the walls here, as long as I cover it with trapdoors. So I think I'm just gonna dig straight down and figure out where it pops into the roof. I know we're gonna need a platform underneath where we popped out from the roof. This is gonna hold the redstone clock that's going to power our dropper tower. This is also gonna be right above our shulker box water line. So I'm not sure how easy this is gonna be to hook up the new water lines above this one. It might get a little muddled and a little confusing to follow. We're gonna have to wrap under, around, and through some of our old redstone just to connect these up to where they're supposed to. The dropper towers themselves actually fit in scarily well. I didn't plan this at all, and there were no blocks to spare, no extra space, and everything is still hidden. I couldn't have planned that better if I tried. I'm sure if I did, it would have went worse. This is the bottom of our dropper towers. We have hoppers sticking out the sides, and those are where we need to connect the water lines to. So I think I'm just gonna start placing some blocks and hoping I can get this to fit right. I've built out some ice paths underneath our shulker box loaders, and now I need to figure out how I'm gonna connect them to the top. I think I'm just gonna have to go around the dropper towers to actually connect them. That seems kind of obvious, but there's a lot to go around. I think I'm just gonna clear the dirt around the top of this, just so I can clearly have some light and some room to work while putting in these water lines. So I've gotten the 3 easiest water lines connected, the 2 on the right and 1 on the left, and I can't figure out how I'm gonna wrap around with the middle, so I think I'm just gonna do exactly that. Go straight up and through the middle of my 2 dropper towers and connect it up to the back left dropper tower. This is gonna be kind of tricky, especially with the redstone back here, but I think that we can do it. Oh gosh, this definitely looks like a jumbled mess, but I'm pretty sure it works. You know, let's test this real quick. Let's throw something in there. Oh, that might not be good. I wonder if it's just moving too quickly for me to see. Huh, let's try that again. Let's look at the hopper this time. Okay, everything is perfect, everything's right. Now all we gotta do is connect everything up, add our bubble columns, and honestly, I think that's it. I think we're ready for a test now. I've loaded up a bunch of random junk into our input chest, and all of these should have a home in our shulker box sorter. Although I'm not seeing anything come past the sorters. This is a little peculiar. That's not right. Something's wrong here. All right, I figured it out. I did a dumb. I put in a whole bunch of items into the shulker box unloader and not the item input. So I've basically thrown a bunch of items into a system that can't do anything with them. So they're just sitting there underground waiting for absolutely nothing to happen. So I've got to go down there, unclog the system, and move all the items back up into the proper chest. And then we should start seeing some items flowing. Here we go. Look at all that, filled with gobbledygook. I don't need that there. After I went down and unclogged the system, this started working perfectly. We have all the items we want in all the right places. We've got a lot of stone, a lot of cobblestone, and practically no tuff. I didn't really even have enough to label it, to be honest, but I am pretty happy with how this turned out. We've sorted our way through a lot of redstone systems today, and I think we're gonna call it an episode right here. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. A lot of the people who watch this channel aren't actually subscribed, and I think that we should change that. But as always, my name is Red Skies, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you like what you see here, peep the social scroll that Salt and Asphalt are holding. But as always, if you have any tips or tricks for using DaVinci Resolve or video editing in general, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your opinion.